Thank It's Talladega time for the Area Lodgebox Series. This is the final round of the regular season before we nip off everybody 13th on back and only give 12 a run at the championship. We decide our playoff field tonight after 84 laps at Talladega. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn and Hunter Sleppy. Connor, tonight a cutoff race at perhaps the scariest track on the circuit for a whole bunch of drivers that are on the edge trying to make their way in to the playoff picture.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Kyle. This is literally everyone's worst nightmare if you're not locked in right now. The guys like Skyley and Elwood at the top of the points, they have nothing to worry about. They can go all out if they really want to, but the guys up the cut line like Cameron Hearn, Colin Fambro, guys who have to win, Forrest Smith, Paul Irvin, they are shaking in their boots right now. This is not the situation they wanted to be in, but they have no choice but to go out and send it and go for the win tonight, Hunter.
That indeed is the case. We have yet to really see that must-win winner win a race and get in. I mean, I kind of saw that with Monday and Ricky Springer because he was almost outside the top 20 even with a win heading into Dega. Got that second win, didn't have to worry about that. Lodgebox Series, though, a lot of hungry names out there going to want their first win, possibly of their career. They couldn't come at a better time than here in Talladega.
Here's a look at your playoff field as it stands after our round last week. James Scioli locked in with 4 wins on the season. Elwood's got 3, Furness has 2, Tommy Ryan, Shane Therian in 4th and 5th. Beckner and Rabel also locked in, Connor, but Grant, Mitchell, Ackley, Hearn, and Fambro, they're inside the playoffs, but not with any sort of comfort.
No comfort at all, 9 points above. Really surprised to see Cameron Hearn here still 9 above the cut line. He seems like he could have won multiple races, but he hasn't been able to do it yet. Brian Chambliss, David Weishart, Ricky Harden, those guys are pretty much in must-wins, but they do have the possibility to point in possibly Smith, Irvin, like we talked about, Matthew Cochran, Steve Durham, also in must-win situations. We do have to look at Shane Therian. He needs to stay in top 20 in points with that win. As long as he doesn't have a very terrible night, he should be able to do that.
Now we got the team standings here, and it's really tight within the top 4. Less than 100 points separating the likes of David Weishart Racing, Sky Motorsports, Vizika's Motorsports, and Keeping It Real Esports. Except Unacceptable Racing not too far behind as well. And you got Darnell, Miller, Peak, Dark Horse, Expert Racing, and then Central United Motorsports down towards the bottom.
Yeah, 4 wins apiece for DWR and Sky Motorsports, so they're going to be going into this cutoff race trying to one-up each other. We head down to the racetrack now. Practice is underway, as we've done all week long. Have a quick look here at the ticker on the left side of the screen. The drivers in green are locked in, whether it's a win or by points. The drivers in yellow are in the top 12, but not safe. They need to perform tonight. And the drivers in white are either just on the other side of the line or desperately need a win, Connor, to get into the playoffs at the end of the night.
And you can see we were talking about Paul Irvin, the guy who absolutely needs a win. Not that times matter too much in super speedway practice, but he's at the top of the board. He knows how to race in these things. He was up front, really all race long at Atlanta when we went there, so he's definitely going to be a factor. He knows what he has to do, and he's probably the guy I'd have to say is going to be the most aggressive driver out there, Hunter.
I would also look at David Weishart as well. As I mentioned, he's not completely out of it where he's in a must-win situation, but he's further enough back in points, minus 20 or so, to where he needs some luck to happen if he doesn't win, if he wants to get in. Also, the 54 of Ryan Swan. Got to go back to a season ago where he won at Talladega on the last lap in the trial, in the iconic number, well, not 3, but it's in the, well, no, it was the 3. Oh, well, there's Cameron Hearn giving him a little bump. But Ryan Swan won on a last lap pass a season ago in the Lodgebox Series. He's got a new paint scheme there, the HyperX number 54. I had him on my circle for trucks. No, it was Cup. Trucks was Jordan Martin, but I'm keeping my eye on Ryan Swan tonight.
Great looking liveries throughout the field. A couple drivers debuting some new ones. I haven't seen this one on the 47 of Mike Tellier just yet. This is a Simrap Market livery. There's a handful of those in the field. We'll talk more about Simrap Market later tonight. They're our replay sponsor, but some gold and navy blue on this car makes it look really solid. But you'll notice the top running locked-in driver is Chris Rabel. And Connor, we've seen all week long, drivers that are locked in, they can be extremely aggressive because even if they crash out, turn around backwards, upside down, barrel roll down the back straight, they're into the playoffs. They don't have to worry about much. But we did see some of them racing pretty smart because, well, that extra win will pay dividends later in the season.
Well, there's sort of a few ways you can drive it if you're locked in. It's the best case scenario because you can do really whatever you want. You can go aggressive, go all out, race like Joey Logano trying to block the entire field. You can do that if you want and go out for the win. But also, you might want to play it smart, stay at the back, like you're talking about, to get that extra win to kind of propel you in the points into the playoffs. And you also don't want to race too aggressively. You don't want to, for lack of a better term, you don't want to make your fellow Chase playoff drivers upset if you're racing a little bit too rowdy. So you do have to be careful who you race hard if you want to be the aggressor tonight.
And we've seen Monday night, Kyle, where some drivers will run up front for a couple laps just to get a lap or two in under their belt leading. Or if it gets too hectic, they just drop out of line on the backstretch and settle it around mid-pack or so. I feel like we might see that tonight and could see that even at the beginning of the race.
I think one of the big things we'll be keeping our eyes on is look just outside of the top 12, looking at Senesac and Chambliss and maybe even David Weishart. A single point from leading a lap could be pretty critical. And if you're in David Weishart's position, for example, leading the most laps could get you in a pretty good spot as well. So you want as many extra bonus points as you can get. So some of the drivers there might opt to be aggressive early, grab a point, and then head back to the back and get themselves set up for that last little bit of a run to the end. We saw the truck race, though, go green most of the way. And Connor, when the race goes green for that long, it kind of locks your strategy down because you don't get to plan it and plan your moves when you're spending the entire race strategizing green flag pit stops and working with your teammates.
Yeah, you almost get more stressed about how you're going to get into your pit stall rather than actually thinking about strategy. So those drivers, they're going to have to be wary of a clean race. But we've seen these Xfinity cars very, very easy to bump someone the wrong way and put them into the inside-outside wall and cause a big one. We've seen it before. We'll likely see it again. You have to be careful of who you're pushing, and you got to know who you can push and who you can't. Going back to Irvin again, we saw at Atlanta he was pretty sideways, living up the name Swervin' Irvin, but we have to be careful of who your partners are. You got to make sure you're going with the right people if you want to go to the front. And guys like Weishart and Fambro, even Cameron Hearn, they got to be careful and they got to be able to realize and recognize the situation they're in so they don't make a critical mistake.
And we mentioned how qualifying may not be as important to some, but looking back, you get a bonus point if you win the pole. So the max you can get is 4 bonus points. We saw that with John Furness last week at Pocono. He got pole, led at least a lap, led the most laps, and then finished the race with 0 incidents. That's a combined total of 4 bonus points. And if you're on the outside looking in, or if you're flirting just above that cut line and you don't win, it has to come down to points. Every point matters. So in this case tonight, leading the most laps would help getting that bonus point. But as we've seen here time and time again, all you got to do is lead that last lap.
Last lap is the only one that really pays, but those other ones are pretty easy to snag. At least the lead 1 lap and maybe even pole if you can get that right here at Talladega. Fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel for only $5 a month. You can watch all Area broadcasts commercial free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. Watch at twitch.tv/Area iRacing. Qualifying underway, and Connor, this is probably the least important qualifying session of the year, but some may disagree with that because being out back gives you the potential to get caught up in some collisions early. What are your thoughts on qualifying at Talladega?
I think for some, it's going to be the most important qualifying session of the year because guys outside the cut line to go, guys who need points to be a little bit more safe, they're going to want to be at the front, starting at the front so they can get to the lead and at least lead 1 lap, maybe even try to get the most laps led. So I think this is, like I said, this is for some the most important qualifying lap of the year because they need to start up front. They probably are not going to be at the back for very long, even if they don't qualify well, Hunter. These guys are really going to have to try to put down their best lap. But it's so easy to lose a 10th or a 100th here and there because you have to be so smooth on these qualifying laps at Talladega.
Without a doubt, even on the warm-up lap, like you see, you're running the outside groove. That's Cameron Hearn there in the 67. Don't want to make contact with that wall. We've seen some drivers get a little too close to that wall here on other tracks and even here at Talladega, but you don't want to hit that. And on the first lap, you'll see the drivers run that high groove, and then somewhere in between the travel right here, they'll merge down to the bottom, run that good lap. We could see drivers only do 1 lap. You do have the option to do 2 laps, but some might just run the bottom on their first lap and call it a day.
Lap 1 in for Cameron Hearn right up against the outside wall at a 55.023, but the second lap right against the yellow line, that's the lap that's going to matter here. And you've got your momentum built up, you've got your engine warmed up, and this is to the level that you're going to be using this second lap because, Connor, even the lack of drag from cooler oil could influence your lap time by a couple hundredths. So you really want this engine warmed up and at the top performance it's got. Everything should be warmed up, really in play. But a couple of drivers did a one and done, which is a little bit surprising for me. Here's Tom Bourne going for a second lap.
And we'll see what he does, painting that yellow line. You got to be very smooth on the wheel as well. My style is I do kind of what Tom Bourne does. I go a little bit wider. That's what I like to do the most because you really don't want to have to tug on that wheel at all. You need to keep it as smooth as possible, and that pretty much means out of the corners, you're going to let that ride to the outside a little bit so you can get a more straight shot, a little bit more speed up out of a corner, and then maybe turn it down for the tri-oval just a little bit. And that looks like to be what Tom Bourne is doing, carrying it out just a little bit off the yellow line as he's going to keep it a little bit more tidy as he comes to a tri-oval here. 9th for the time being. Cameron Hearn at the top of the pylon with a 54.05 as Tom Bourne's going to come across. He's going to put down another time, a 2.93. It's going to put him about 7th, I think.
It looks like
maybe.
9th.
I'm sad the pylon doesn't work. These broke. These used to work here in iRacing. I was hoping we get a cool shot of Tom Bourne ascending the pylon, but nope, not going to happen here today. Brian Chambliss on the racetrack, one of those drivers that could use a really good night. Not in right now. A win would certainly do it for the 25.
He had a lot of unfortunate luck last week at Pocono. He actually had pretty good practice times, but his internet didn't really give him a chance and put him in a sort of an unfair hole for the 25. He's had a solid season, very consistent, but now he's really going to need a little bit of help tonight and a little bit of good running.
Yeah, and we're looking here still over 5 minutes to go in qualifying, but I'm one that likes to follow the trends. And going back to last year's race, Ryan Swan actually has the track record, 53.946. He was the pole sitter, and he ended up winning the race. So we're going by my trends. If you're the pole sitter tonight, you have a good shot at winning. And if Cameron Hearn can do that, then boy, a win here would be huge for him.
And not that many people have put down times just yet, though, so it's not very safe for now. Hearn is at the top, and you see it in the yellow. He's currently in the top 12, just not locked. Chambliss is in the white on the timing and scoring, which means that he needs a good night tonight. Look at Ackley and Fambro putting themselves up in the mix. Rabel and Beckner, they're locked in. They're just up there for fun. And now on the bottom of the track through 3 and 4, Chambliss rolls around, come and complete his second lap on the night. Let's have a quick look at the temperature as well. 102 track temp, that's pretty warm, 75 degrees. This is probably the warmest it's been all week, Connor, but it really won't affect a whole lot here other than marginal power difference.
Yeah, I don't think it'll hurt anyone too much. Chambliss clocks in at 6th right there, so he's going to have to pull it in, and he's be starting somewhere near the front, I would assume, and it is maybe a little bit of a factor. Dig is a little bit worn out in this sort of version, but it shouldn't affect these guys too much. Really, it's going to be affecting these guys is being on each other's bumpers. That's really where everyone's going to get really squirrely as we look at the 49 of Alan Elwood. Top of the points right now, or at least top 2, if my memory is correct,
yes,
as he is top of the board, but only by 3 points. Something we won't really focus on too much, but there is that battle for the top of the regular season standings, and only 3 points separate him and James Scioli, so those drivers are going to be racing each other all day long as well, Hunter.
Yeah, looking through here with Alan Elwood, some big news coming out just earlier this week from him and Sky Motorsports. So season cup operations, at least for the time being. The plans for Xfinity and trucks are still to be determined because Alan is going to be a father.
Wow.
So he's got father duty to do, so he'll be stepping away for a season. And we wish nothing but the best for Alan Elwood. And
good for him.
What better way to go out on top than possibly, well, winning here at Talladega, but also heading into the playoffs as potentially the favorite to win the championship.
Yeah, that's great news for Alan. And we'll see if this lap is great news for him as well. Great looking new livery on this car, Simrat Market, purple and green. And a 54.960. That is lap 1. Lap 2 is going to be the one that counts. Here he is right along the bottom here. Ryan Swan jumped up to second place. Other than that, no major shifts or shuffles here on the timing and scoring. But now about 2/3 of our field, Connor, has locked in at least one lap of qualifying.
Going to get a few more here with a few others on track. James Cooey as well. Bryce Senesac just ended his time. Chambliss is still running laps. Logan Hartman on track as well, as we see the 49 still going around into turn number 3. Another pretty wheel for him, as you see. Love these camera shots, especially when they're 3 wide. They're wild. So it's going to come around, see if he can start up the front. Like I said, he's going to be racing Scioli all race long pretty much, and Skyler didn't put down that great of a lap, only 19th. I think he wasn't a one and done, just an unfortunate lap for him. So this is a interesting strategy. I've never seen this. Talladega is going to go to the apron to complete his lap.
Not to the top, though. Only going to be about 12th quick, Hunter, so that's perhaps a little surprising.
Yeah, and I don't know if we talked about it, but the regular season championship is still up for grabs between Alan Elwood and James Scioli, so this is also very crucial for both these guys, even though they have 3 or 4 wins on the season. Elwood's only got a 3-point cushion from James Scioli. Unless something happens to both of them, then you can count John Furness in the mix as well, but he's 39 points behind. But you get 15 bonus points if you lock up the regular season championship. So, again, it's a race within a race between Elwood and Scioli tonight, and we'll see if their aggression levels rise as well.
Here's Ricky Harden, lap 1 in the books. 1:12.517, so lap 2 is going to be the one to count. 33 degrees of banking here at Talladega, and that's what it looks like off the shoulder of Harden right now. It almost doesn't look real how much, and I would love to see Talladega in person, Connor. I've never been to a super speedway, but to see the banking, even at tracks that have a little bit, I've been to places like the Glen that have 9 degrees is their maximum bank angle. I thought that was a lot. 33 is crazy.
It's crazy when you experience Dover. It's incredible there, too. I was at Bristol in the dirt. Even that banking, even in their dirt configuration, is still pretty steep, as this is Ricky Harden's first lap. It'll be his one and only lap. But yeah, the banking is insane here, and it's what provides such crazy racing, along with the big banking and really wide turns that arc very wide. It's pretty incredible, a track like this.
Come across the stripe into 15, a 54.314. That's going to be good enough for 26th on the board. And in the meantime, looks like Tommy Ryan jumped up to the pole.
Yeah,
he just stole it.
54.037 by 100th of a second. Tommy Ryan is your pole sitter here. So Cameron Hearn will start alongside him, and that's a point Cameron Hearn, I'm sure, would have liked to have before we kick things off here tonight. But qualifying is complete. That means we're just moments away from going racing here at Talladega for the last round of the regular season. This is race number 12. Upcoming on the schedule as we look forward, we've got the Redacted Road Course coming up next week on January 26th. Then Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Auto Club Speedway, Richmond, and Nashville. That will mirror across all 3 of our series with the exception of next week. The trucks are headed to IRP instead of the Redacted Road Course. All right, before we kick things off here tonight, we're going to bring you your Roasted Gems Coffee starting grid here in just a moment, but fans, be sure to visit Roasted Gems Coffee for some of the finest coffee from all over the world. Use discount code AREAIRACING for 10% off your order at roastedgems.com. Connor, 84 laps. Is there a strategy that's any different than any other plate race, or do you treat this the same as you always do, cautiously optimistic in the opening moments?
I think it's going to be a little awkward because I think it's just outside the range of a one-stop strategy. So I think we're going to see pit stops a little bit earlier than we might see around laps 25 to 30, or you might want to run just a tank completely empty, and then your last stop will just be a splash and go. There's a little bit of variation I think we're going to see tonight in strategies, Hunter.
Yeah, we saw a few of those Monday where some tried to pit and make it a one-stop, and we had a gap of about 5 seconds between few cars and then the rest of the pack, but fortunately, a late yellow came out, and that's what bunched everything back up, made it more interesting. And I have a feeling that tonight, I think we see a new winner. I'm going to go with Ryan Swann as my pick. I don't know if we're doing picks yet, but 54 of Ryan Swann is my pick to win.
All right, well, hey, let's do our picks while we're at it. I'm going to pick the 67 of Cameron Hearn. I think he's got the right level of aggression, Connor. He doesn't need a win, but I'm sure he'll be up there fighting for it regardless. Connor, who you got winning this thing?
I got the third tier David Weishart. I think he's going to go all out tonight to make the playoffs. I think it's a little bit disappointing where he is. He's ran better. Strategies have really hurt him a lot of his season, but I'm going with David Weishart tonight.
All right, so David Weishart is the pick for Connor. Hunter has the 54. I have the 67. I like where my pick is starting, but that doesn't mean a whole lot of anything here at the drop of the green flag. So from flag to flag, if we were to go green or almost green like we did on Tuesday, this race would take us 1 hour and 15 minutes. It's just after 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Thanks for joining us here. Let's kick off the starting lineup here for tonight's race from Talladega Super Speedway. Tommy Ryan's locked in and on pole for tonight's race. He'll start alongside the 67 of Cameron Hearn, Connor.
And then Ryan Swann in the 54. Look out for him tonight. He's starting third. Alongside him is Chris Rabel, who's locked in. He can do whatever he wants tonight.
And in row number 3, it's Jeff Ryan's number 37. Rob Ackley fighting for a spot in the playoffs. He's got one now. Will he at the end of the night? He starts in 6th.
We'll have to wait and see. Mike Tellier in the 47 fighting for a win as well. He starts 7th. Colin Farnborough just fighting to survive. Only 9 to the good tonight. And Cameron Hearn, who comes in tonight with a tied. They're both 9 points over the cut line. He's ahead of him. Farnborough starts 8th, trying to catch up.
Row 5, John Furness in the number 28 has a pair of victories on the season, looking for a 3rd. He should be highlighted on the ticker. He is locked in. Travis Beckner in the 27, he is locked in and just looking for more victories tonight. Rolls off 10th.
John Furness trying to go 3 in a row. We'll see if he can do that. Brian Chambliss just trying to get into the playoffs as well. He needs a little bit of work, has a little bit of work to do tonight. He starts 11th. Andrew Zanto in the 13. He's had a lot of bad luck this year, but he starts 12th, looking for a good opportunity.
Swerve and Irvin rolls off 13th place on the inside of row 7. Alan Elwood way up at the top. He's just fighting for the regular season championship. That's the only thing on his mind tonight. Pick up a little bit extra.
Row number 8's a pretty good one for liveries. Ed Robertson in the 64 Toyota Supra alongside a Camaro, and Bryce Senesac in the 09.
And behind them, 17th place, David Weishart. Your pick, Connor. The 33 starts 17th. Matthew Cochran in the 4 starts alongside him.
Logan Hartman back in 19th to round out the top 20 alongside him, the 96 of Jacob Hudson.
Then it's James Cooey in the number 24. Greg Mitchell in the number 2 is in right now. He's got to stay there. He rolls off 22nd.
Jam Scioli 3 points away from the regular season championship. We'll see if he can do it tonight. He has a lot of work to do to get back to the front. Alongside him, the 30 of Christopher Tate.
25th, Tom Bourne's number 16. Ricky Harden starts 26th in the number 15 car.
Forrest Smith in the 84 machine needing to make things happen tonight. He starts 27th. Alongside him, the 70 machine of Alan Balancino.
Shane Therian locked in, rolls off 29th. Garrett Grant starts 30th in the number 5.
Theron has work to do. He needs to stay in the top 20 for that win to matter. We'll see if he can do that tonight. Pierce Moffitt in the 44, and then Steve Durham, who came on late. He is in the top 20. He can get a win tonight. It's his only route tonight. He starts 32nd.
Final row of our 34-car field, Hunter Collier in the number 98, and Dawson Miller in the 56. Hunter got 84 laps tonight. Do you think this race is going to be chaotic like Monday, or do you think it'll be tamer like Tuesday, or none of the above?
I think it's a mixture of both. Probably tamer towards the beginning and then towards the end, chaotic.
Connor, thoughts?
What he said. No, I'm just kidding. I think we're going to see a little bit of both. I think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to see things calm down a little bit early, and then if we go green to that point, the strategies are going to make anything pretty wild. I think we're going to see a lot of things go down late in this race, whether it's yellow or not.
Well, the field is stacked up and a whole bunch of rows deep. 17 rows of cars, 34 on the grid. Tommy Ryan, Cameron Hearn sharing that front row. Will the manufacturer alliances play in? There are some big team alliances that certainly will. Will they pick the badge over a stranger towards the tail end of this? Remember where the tri-oval is. All those that are familiar with stock car racing know how Talladega start-finish line is way down the road from the pit in, from the middle of the tri-oval. That allows you a little extra time to get the move done. They head towards the Geico restart zone. And tonight's race, 84 laps, and it all begins now. We're cutting off everybody outside of the top 12. It'll be playoff picture at the end of the night. Here we go from Talladega. Green flag flies, and we're racing at NASCAR's biggest track. Lap 1 complete, and everybody already starting to get set up in 2 lines, inside and outside, just like we saw on Tuesday in the Truck Series race, but with a little extra speed, closing in at 193 miles an hour off into the first corner, Connor, but Tommy Ryan has the advantage for now.
And he was one of the guys to be at Atlanta all week long when we went to Atlanta. He was so solid here. A little bit bigger track this time, but the same sort of racing applies, and he's just tucked down to the bottom line.
Have yet to see any 3-wide action yet, so these guys taking it easy, at least for the first lap. It's still the 99 of Ryan being pushed by Ryan Swan, who's actually in a Ryan sandwich. That's brother Jeff behind Ryan Swan, and he's still got Cameron Hearn with 29 of Chris Rabel leading that outside line.
A little bit of 3 wide. There's a 70 up top. Alan Ballacino was really aggressive earlier this week in the other series. We'll see. It looks like he's already starting that strategy here as the 54 goes to the point. The 67's going to split him and sucker hole him on lap 2. That was this message sent early.
Ryan Swan will remember that for sure. No friends here as Hearn wants to lead this line and Chris Rabel wants him to lead it too. Hearn gets down to the middle. Swan's able to get back to the bottom. Everyone's going to have to shift back to the middle as Chris Rabel didn't get the memo soon enough. It lets Ryan get a little bit of a bigger lead. Now Ryan jumps to the top as they're going to be 2 Ryans leading both lanes right now.
I would say Jeff Ryan obviously going to choose his brother over Ryan Swan. I mean, that's his brother. And look at them. They're door-to-door racing it here at Talladega.
And remember, we saw these two working together all week long, Connor, in the Cup Series and the Truck Series. Tommy and Jeff working together, doing the same again tonight. But Tommy's lost his brother. Now he's centered now with only the 14 of Ackley to pick him up. Hearn leads the outside lane with help from the 29 of Rabel. 3 distinct lines forming now, but they're not quite organized quite yet.
Yeah, Ballacino and Tate went straight to the front to bring Jacob Hudson with them as that middle line starts to really fizzle out. Now Tommy Ryan had some help for a moment, but now nothing there. But the bottom lane so strong as Jeff Ryan, Swan. Oh, big wiggle there. I think that was Beckner maybe, but everyone keeps it clean for now as 3 lanes starting to form and everyone's trying to find which lane they want to be in.
I was looking at the 30 of Tate kind of merged down with the 70 of Ballacino. Ballacino won season 1 here in the Lodgebox Series riding car with the 30 of Tate. And boy, if there's a place I don't want to be in, it's in the middle of any sort of 3-wide situation here at Talladega.
Look where he's gone, though, 24th to 7th in just 4 laps. So the mobility in this car is perhaps even better than the Cup Series race. Look at Hearn swing to the outside as a check up there in the middle, Connor.
Oh yeah, Cameron Hearn's going to be the aggressor all night long. I think only 4 laps in, we know that already. He wants to go to the front and stay at the front. He lost any momentum he had. Ryan Swan's going to go to the top. He might drop back here as Tommy Ryan went to the middle, and now Hearn's going to have to push him. Hearn wants to be at the front, but he has nowhere to go now.
They're just going to fade towards the back there. Hudson and Hardin there on the outside as well. And look, there's one going to the bottom. That's Tellier in the 47, dropping out of line.
54 is dropping backwards as well. Maybe he's getting out of the mix for the time being. Alan Ballacino to the point. And where did he start this race? Back in 28th to the lead in 5 laps, Connor. So take note of that on a double file restart with 5 laps to go, if you know where to put your car, you've got the time to get to the front, provided you can find a way through.
That was all thanks to being paired up with Christopher Tate. Those two went to the 3rd line immediately. They did a little bit of a tandem on their own, and they were able to get all those spots up. And look at the move Tate's going to make to get in front of the 70. Jeff Ryan almost got to the back of Ballacino, almost knocked him sideways. That's going to put the 30 to the point. Ryan in the middle. Cameron Hearn back with that top line with Swerve and Irvin pushing him.
Yeah, never count out Swerve and Irvin or Cameron Hearn. And wow, there is the 37 of Jeff Ryan. They're still trying to get locked in on the back bumper there at Ballacino. And also right behind, didn't even mention this, Sean Furness. You gotta remember, he's won 2 in a row here. He still has a shot to make it 3 in a row, although it's going to be challenging here at Talladega because of how even level the playing field is. But we could see him win, or we could see the 99 or the 30 of Tate win. They are door-to-door for that lead.
Whoa, Rabel, big sideways moment through the tri-oval. Connor, you'd be surprised how sideways these cars can get at a track where you're just flat to the floor all the way around.
That's why keeping a smooth wheel is so important. Usually I expect drivers to get sideways if they're on the bottom. There's that bump on the bottom line through the tri-oval that can really jerk you sideways if you're not paying attention. But that was in the middle line. Almost looked like he was trying to follow the 99's tire tracks, and he just swooped himself sideways a little bit, but he's able to gather it this time. And you'll take note of that as we get later into this race and the tires wear out a little bit.
2x2 all throughout except for that little 3-wide group there. That was the 44 of Maffa that jumped out of line. So far, so clean for now.
Clicking off laps one by one, working lap number 7. We've had a revolving door here at the front in terms of the leaders. 3 lead changes amongst 2 leaders so far this race. Got a lot of lead changes. As a little bit of a split there. The 29's not going to be able to let the 99 get back in with the 27 shoving. And see ya, Ryan, revolving door, and he gets punted out.
It was like he wanted to get to the top, though. He was not really holding his line as good as he was, but he is going to get back in line, so maybe that was a little bit of a mistake. Maybe Rabel shoved him up as Jacob Hudson is kind of separating those two drivers in the top lane. Right now is Rabel really sideways off the bumper of Beckner. The pushing's getting aggressive, and it's only lap 8, Hunter.
Only lap 8, but Beckner's got his eyes on the prize. He wants to get as many bonus points as possible. It seems like he's trying to get Rabel up to the front, and then who knows, maybe he'll make a move at it for lead, but it's still the 30 and the 70, giving it 100% down on the bottom of Tate and Balancino.
This front pack is the one that's really racing each other right now. There is a second pack that's kind of forming, and they've got their own lines, but right now the battle is in the middle, and look at the 29, split the difference. Here comes 30 to the bottom now.
And here comes Ryan back. Rabel kind of got caught. He didn't know if he was clear to the bottom, then he wasn't really clear to the top anymore either, so it kind of split that line up, and it's going to let Tate and Balancino work together to get back to the lead, and got a little bit of a gap as they're 3 wide again.
Well, it seemed like the execution didn't go well there for Hudson and Beckner. Seems like, like I said, Beckner wanted to get up towards the front, but the move he and Hudson made just did not go well with execution there, so they're going to fall towards the back here, but Rabel still has a shot at taking a lean a lap here.
In the way background, Alan Elwood just clicking off laps back here with Shane Therian. And remember, he's already locked in, so his goal is just to get to the end of the race, steal one, and add it to the list, and hopefully come away with the regular season championship. Playing it safe right now as the field fights fiercely up in the front.
I believe Therian's 14 to the good over 21st place, so he still has to finish up there. As long as he plays this right, it should be no issue. But got to be careful in case this goes green. Don't lose that pack. I'm sure those two know very well what they have to do to avoid that.
Well, looking back at the regular season title that's on the line, Elwood entered in 3 points to the good over Scioli, but now they are essentially tied for that. Go figure. They're running in the back, and they're still in a dead heat for that championship, or regular season championship, that is. As Tate's still holding strong on the bottom, Rabel's still holding that middle, and other than that, it is all double filed up here in Dega.
Nice, neat, orderly line zone. I can see us going green like this for a while based on, okay, well, as I say that, a big wiggle, and here comes the third lane with the 44. But it just looks like everybody's kind of in control right now, Connor. Like, the moves are pretty unsupervised, mild. I'd say, but it is mild, yes.
I don't know if they're fully in control, but they're at least in decent lanes. Maffitt kind of got a little bit wiggly there. That's why he went to the outside, as he's kind of like a rubber band back and forth between these two lines right now, and occasionally get guys at the very top trying to get up there, as Chris Rabel's finally going to commit to clear that bottom line. He was clear by a good bit, and he was very decisive that time, as opposed to the last time where he put him, Tommy Ryan, and others in a 3-wide hole.
Yeah, it looked very close there from the camera angle we saw on the whole backstretch grandstands, which I do miss here at Talladega, but nonetheless, 29 got the job done, but he won't lead the lap. Here comes the 99 of Ryan. Massive push on the outside from the 15 of Ricky Harden, and look who's back. Travis Beckner in the 27. Harden, one Ryan jumps down low, one Ryan jumps up high. The one that jumped down low just took the lead away.
Yeah, lots of movement right now from lane to lane. Everyone's trying to figure out which one is strongest. Connor, I can't see which one is strongest. We've had leaders in both.
Watch the blinking. Moffitt back to the middle. That was a very dicey moment. I think the line really depends on who the pusher is. I think Travis Beckner is one guy you want pushing you, albeit aggressive. He's making it work. Also, Chris Rabel, Christopher Tate, Balancino, both great pushers. Or all three of them great pushers as well. So really depends on who's in your line. Got to be careful. Got to be looking out for who can push well and who can't.
I'll cross that one off your bingo card. Saw the 44 of Moffitt blink out there, especially when they're up front here at Talladega. What does that do for a driver like Jeff Ryan, Connor, in your position? Oh, what does that do to you when you see the car in front of you just blink out and you don't know where he is or where he's going to pop up?
It makes me want to back the heck out. I don't want to be anywhere near him. It's so risky when someone can't get their internet sorted. It puts everyone at risk, not just you. It puts the entire pack at risk. You could wind up with 30-something cars because someone doesn't have their internet sorted. It puts you so on edge, and it really makes you either want to go to the back to just get away from him, or you try as quickly as possible to get grouped up with someone to pass him so you don't have to worry about him being on your bumper or anywhere near you.
Dicey things here. Working lap 13, clicking away laps very quickly. 50.8s for most of the leaders. 44 still trying to make that third groove viable, but no one's gone with him yet. The 27 pops to the outside, and he's going to bring the 44.
They don't want Ricky Harden, I suppose, but here comes Jeff Ryan to help the 15. He's going to give a big push right there. As you look how spread out it is behind this 3x3 group for the time being. Hartman, Balancino, John Furness, Hudson, a lot of these guys trying to figure out where they want to be in line.
A massive gap there on the bottom lane. Balancino can take it if he wants, but he's going to stay in that middle for now. Seems like Moffitt's actually going to go in the middle now. Give the push to the 37 of Ryan, which goes to the 15 of Harden, and trying to get a nose out in front of the 99 of Tommy Ryan. And Beckner once again making that move. Whoa, that was close.
96.
That is Dawson Miller in the 56, getting a little dicey there with Jacob Hudson.
Yeah, Jacob Hudson kind of wanted a gap that he couldn't go for there as things closed up. And that's kind of the name of the game. Road racers talk all the time about going for gaps that exist, but in the real world, gaps close. And the gap doesn't exist if by the time you get there you make contact. And that's a no truer place than on a plate track, Connor, where that kind of comes into full effect.
Especially when blocking comes into play late in a race, you got to be really careful. You cannot go for a gap that you know is going to close. You have to be careful with who you choose to pass in a certain specific point in the race. So got to be looking out for who's trying to block and who's giving the space.
Well, there's a lot of space up here. They're still too wide. They can go 3 wide, but they get a little risky there. It seems like Dawson Miller wanted to go 3 wide in the back. In car here with Alan Balancino, who you mentioned, it went from 28th to 1st within the first 5 laps. So he's kind of just riding around here. He is the one now behind the 44 at Moffitt, who still looks like he's trying to peek towards that 3rd lane. And Balancino trying to make his own 3rd lane in the middle.
Yeah, he's really keeps sticking the nose in there. He's getting shoved from Travis Beckner. So there's a big concern I have if Beckner shoves the 70 through into a hole that closes just like that.
Goodness.
Yeah, Moffitt's got to keep it tidy and keep that line closed because the 70 Balancino, he's going to take it, and it's going to cause a big wreck if either the 44 doesn't realize it and closes a gap, or the 70 gets a little bit too aggressive and it's too late. 44's got to hold the line a little bit lower because people who are aggressive like Balancino are going to take advantage of you every single time.
Well, it looked like towards the back there, Logan Hartman wanted to jump up and make that 3rd line work. You got Dawson Miller, Hudson, and Coey in pursuit. So yeah, Pierce Moffitt still, I don't know what he's doing. If he's trying to get a little bit of clean air or so, or if he wants to get that 3rd line rolling, but he's making it risky there with the 70 Balancino close to his bumper.
Yeah, definitely not really sure where to put the nose. Balancino sees that, and he's going to put him middle. Oh, big wiggle into turn 1 off the bumper of Beckner. He gathers it up, but that was a sobering wake-up call, I think, for both of them there.
Well, that's another issue. Beckner is not laying off the 70 at good times right now, so it's really giving Balancino no choice but to put his nose there because Beckner's so far under his rear bumper. These guys got to be careful. It's really hurting that outside lane a little bit as well. The 15 apart, he's still taking the lead a little bit here, but when the 44 is doing that, not staying in line, it's hurting their run down the straightaways.
Whoa, there's the 56 of Miller again. Seemed like he got loose there. As mentioned, most of these guys have some good car control, at least for the early stages of this race, but he jumped up to that 3rd lane, started all the way back in 34th, I believe that's last, and moved up to so far 13th. He's close to flirting with that top 10. Just look at the field roll by.
Into turn 1, working lap 18. Clean and green so far. How much longer can we go? It does seem like drivers are getting a little bit more aggressive with their pushes, Connor. This is always kind of what we see with the Xfinity Series cars is the first couple of laps, you're kind of tentative with your pushes, but as you gain confidence in those around you, you start leaning on them harder and harder, and at some point, they're going to break.
Yeah, and it's really all about you have to be centered. If you're not centered, you're going to be in for a bad time. Whatever corner panel you hit, you're turning the guy, so you have to be aiming for the logo on their rear bumper dead in the middle. And if you get late in the race, a lot of drivers lose sight of that and just try to slam into a driver in front of them just to get them going faster, but that's how you create big ones.
Over here in the chat, Jacob Bell actually put over under 15 and a half laps complete for the 56 of Dawson Miller, and seeing how it's lap 19 and he is still running inside the top 15. He has successfely hit the over. Yes.
Yeah, nice work.
Got to keep an eye on Dawson Bell.
I'm going to assume Bell hit the under, or he tried the under and failed. I'm going to assume.
He didn't say I said the under, but Dawson Miller has proved me wrong, and I would really consider him a dark horse here at these super speedways.
He's lingering up in 12th right now. Chris Rabel pushing the 99 big time. Connor, where are we at in terms of the engine temperatures For a while, it seemed like engine temps are pretty hard to manage in all 3 series. Where are we at now with engine temps? How long and how hard can you push?
Oh gosh, I keep worrying about Balancino trying to get under a 44, but it's not too bad. As long as you have no front end damage, you got to be a little bit careful. Once that thing starts blinking, you have to get off the rear bumper of the guy in front of you. So I would say can push for a pretty decent time. Jeff Ryan's been behind Ricky Harden for a while. You just got to know how to manage it at the right time. Like in the corners, I would say that's your best time to lay off and get some temps back so you can really go full send down these straightaways.
Whoa.
Whoa,
Big
speaking
moves
of
up
full
front.
send, here comes Tate. Yep, Tate to the outside. Now he's going to have that massive run from Harden. Going to go to the bumper. Going to be tight here. Now the guy in just before the entry at turn 3. And now Christopher Tate, new challenger on the outside, trying to spark a little bit of momentum and see if that outside lane can prevail over Tommy Ryan on the bottom.
We are about to hit the 1/4 mark of this race. That's how fast things are flying by here at full throttle. And Tommy Ryan has been the dominant car so far. He has maintained the lead for 12 of 20 laps completed, but he's got a field of hungry drivers behind him. Everybody's on the lead lap. Nobody's lost the draft. We're 21 laps in, Connor.
We might start seeing people think about pit stops. I don't believe you can do a one-stop, make it 42 laps on attack the fuel.
No.
I don't think that's possible. And if you wanted to cut it up into even thirds, you'd put it around lap 28. So drivers who are trying to cut it up evenly, we should see them come down pretty soon. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see these drivers just go to the very end of their fuel run because they'll be with more drivers most likely. It really depends on how many people are on what strategy.
And still working on that bottom, riding on board the car in the third car on the bottom. That's John Furness, who was looking for his 3rd straight victory here in the Lodgebox series and really didn't know what to expect coming into Daytona. New driver John Furness, and then he started getting these really close finishes towards that win. Just hasn't been able to do it, and then most recently back in New Hampshire, it finally broke through. He got that first win, and just like that, he ripped off another one from Pocono. Who knows, maybe could spark 3 in a row here, and I would definitely keep an eye on Furness for the playoffs, but it's going to be tough to win here at Talladega.
Yeah, he finally had that breakthrough victory, and he has been really solid since then. He had really a number of good finishes at the start of the season. We knew it was only a matter of time, and it was almost turning into kind of a sick joke that the 28 would run really well and not be a factor at the end. But he's finally gotten a couple victories to shut all of the naysayers up, but very close to the front right now, inside the top 5, as Maffitt got shuffled out by the 70 last time by. And the 99 still persistently leading on this bottom lane, Connor. If I had to pick a lane, I'd be picking the bottom, and I'd be in the 99 car. I just like what he's doing. He's controlling it, not being very aggressive. He's sticking to his guns, and he's clicking off laps. He's already locked in, doesn't need to lead these laps, but out front is the easiest place to be.
Yeah, even if you're an aggressor, you're gonna make moves early, outside, inside, 3 wide, whatever. But once you realize this race is going green, that's when you try to get to the bottom at all costs. So you're ready for that pit stop, and you don't have to fight your way to the bottom. And you're speaking of breakthroughs with John Furness. I think that was a breakthrough for Alan Balancino. He was trying for laps, lap after lap. He was trying to get the 70 shuffled out, and last time through a trial, well, he finally did it. So it doesn't really help that outside lane. A little bit discombobulated right now, but it's not hurting the 30 and the 15 too badly, as they're still right next to a 99 and 29, a little bit of tandem racing.
Well, I mentioned John Furness looking for that 3rd win, but also if something happens to Scioli or Elwood, there's a possibility where he could steal the regular season championship and get those 15 bonus points. So maybe a little aggression here from the 28 as he's running towards the front. And speaking of running towards the front, here's Dawson Miller in car, started all the way back in 34th, has now cracked the top 10, and he's looking to make that 3rd line go, at least looked like it. He's got no one behind him, though, to go with him, so he's kind of free to just peek his nose to the outside, get a little bit of clean air.
Yeah, see that right now, he's not even in line. He's just trying to cool the nose off before he dives into this mix, but still dead even, the top 8, kind of side by side here.
We missed some pit stops. Colin Fambro, David Weishart, Scioli, a few others came down last time by. I don't believe, Scioli, Cameron Hearn, that backpack came down about, I think, 5 to 6 cars. So a little bit of a different strategy for those guys as the lead pack stays out.
Well, looking for Sky Motorsports to maybe be the next team to come down pit road and try to get everyone grouped up. And in the meanwhile, Christopher Tate has taken over as the race leader, jumped down to the bottom. Tate looking for some funding here in ARCA. Wants to run Daytona. Had some testing down in Daytona just this past weekend. Had some pretty good lap times, but he's looking for funding in the ARCA series. And showing off what he can do here at Talladega.
Here in the 09 might have missed the pit box and indeed rolled through pit lane. And one of the things I was going to mention before we get to green flag stops is, Connor, how many drivers do you think practice pit road entry? This is a challenging place to stop. Not very good brakes on these cars, and you have to get these things woed way down.
Yeah, I would say not enough people practiced it. He did get in his stall, but he lost so much time to the 4 that he pitted with it. He's going to be the first driver to go 1 lap down. It's a little bit, I don't think a 4-car pack is going to be faster than this pack, but I think it's going to be way cleaner than pitting with 25 others. It's so important to know where everyone's pitting. If someone qualified 30th, you got to let them in first. If someone qualified 5th, they got to be to the very outside. These drivers have to communicate with each other and realize who goes where and how you're going to make this work without crashing into one another.
It looks like Bryce has settled into this pack, even though he's the only car now on that outside line that's a little bit further towards the back. Still has some draft from Logan Hartman in the 10. And the only car 1 lap down, but fortunate for him, if a yellow comes out, he gets that lucky dog back on the lead lap like nothing ever happened.
Working lap 26 of 84, and we're just ticking these things off. This is going to keep the race very, very fast, especially if you get green flag stops and get through those clean, Connor. The pace of this race is just going to go by so quickly, and it's going to be lap 70, lap 80 before you know it. So this is the kind of race that if I'm not up front, I would consider getting myself in that front pack, because who knows, this race could go caution-free or get us very close to the end before a caution, and I don't want to have to rely on one to get me track position back.
Tell you what, this pace will get slowed down if Balancino goes for the middle a bit too in a bad way. So still looking at the 70, the moves he's making. But yeah, I think if you're at the back of this line right now, you have to start to go to the top a little bit and maybe make some time up. There's gaps when you get back to Travis Beckner in 12th place. There's gaps between each driver. Everyone's very strung out back there. If I'm someone, as we got more hitters in the back, Tellier, Bourne, Swan, Elwood, and Therian are all going to pit this time. So another pack of 5. Therian almost hit the inside wall because he has an early stall. But if I'm at the back, someone like a Garrett Grant, Greg Mitchell, I'm trying to get to the front and place myself closer to that lead pack before pit stops, so I don't even have a little bit of a risk of losing the lead pack under pit stops.
And here is the lead pack. As mentioned, there's only about 6 cars there on that outside line. Everyone else is working that bottom. And there's Dawson Miller still peeking out, just trying to get some cleaner. That 56 must be close to overheating if he keeps peeking his nose out.
I'm not sure if it's doing that or just sometimes when I plate race like this, if there's no immediate push behind me, I will just get out of line just because it kills the effect of the draft and keeps me comfortably behind without having to lift and potentially lose momentum. So there's some strategy there in doing that. It doesn't look very cohesive as you see behind him. I don't think for one if Steve Durham is on board with that strategy.
I don't think so at all. He's been trying to get to the front. He's been doing a good job. And looking at that pack who pitted first with Weishart, Fambro, Hearn, and Scully. Wow, Hearn almost hit Tom Moore, and that was extremely close. But those guys are running a little bit faster than the lead pack the last few laps. Maybe around even a tenth faster. And as a matter of fact, they were over a half a second faster last time by. So I didn't think less cars would work in an Xfinity car, but they are putting a little bit of a gap on this lead pack as they battle.
Boy, there's Dawson in the 56. I still keep seeing him peeking that nose up, up, and up. He almost came down on the 29 of Rabel there in the tribal this last time by. So, oh my goodness, he is definitely all over the place. I don't know if the one Steven Durham's going to put up with this much longer, unless Bryce Sensac goes with him. Logan Hartman dropped to the bottom, so there's only 5 cars now on that outside line, and it looks like Durham's going to jump to the 3rd lane and want out.
There's a certain level of organization that you need to have before you make green flag pit stops. And the last thing you want to do is be stuck on the high side with a row of cars behind you and you wanting to hit pit lane for your strategy. So you need to make your way to the bottom, and that's what the majority of this group has done. So the 37, the 70, the 56, they're all kind of stuck here, and they can't pit until the inside group moves over or they jump into line.
I don't know if it was he wants to get in line or he wanted to get away from the 56 of Dawson Miller, who's a little bit struggling right now with car control. As I'm looking at these times, that pack is going to be in the lead. Hearn, Weishart, Fambro, Scioli. They're going to have a decent gap. Even Bourne, Tellier, Elwood, and Swan, Therian, who pit a few laps after, they're going to have a gap on this lead pack because the guys at the front, as they battle, they are not making time.
No, it always works better when everyone's on the same page going single file, but when you got some cars trying to make a pass on the outside line or try to stay with you on that outside, it's like, hey, no, I want to be in front. backup,
Well,
you say in the back.
This strategy was an investment in the green flag nature of this race. The strategy that these guys, spin,
Whoa,
47,
whoa.
out of
Saved
control. Did he gather it up? Still, he did. Wow, that was a big save.
Whew. That's kind of threw off the strategy for a few guys. He was all on his own there, as well as I think everyone else got away cleanly. Let's look at this. Yeah, he just lost on his own. He went high, tried to turn it down to the bottom, and just lost it. But a great save, keep it under him. But a lot of track position lost.
That was like Kyle Busch shootout nonsense down there in 3 and 4, huh?
It sure was. And look, now everyone is, the outside line has gone away. Not sure what happened there. But now you got Andrew Santo 3 wide on that third group on the high lane. Dawson Miller now in the middle. Not in a good position here, especially with what we've seen over the last few laps.
Yeah, he was not comfortable there for a moment in the middle as everybody scatters up on the top side of the 44 loose. And look at the 1 of Steve Durham making moves to the middle groove now as everybody is very disjointed on the back straightaway. We're 3 wide, 2 wide, 1 wide everywhere.
Yes, it's not going to go very well for these guys if they want to be at the front. And the guys who need the win on this strategy are not going to be liking what they're seeing as well, as these guys all over each other right now. Steve Durham in the middle trying to find a push, as this is absolute madness for the time being.
From a spotter, I'm yelling, you can't win the race now. It's only lap 32.
You can sure lose it.
You could lose it. Some of you aren't even in the top 10. Stop it.
So they're still going to be sorting it out. That will break away the front 5. But again, I like the strategy that Scioli and crew have gone with because, as I mentioned, it's an investment in the green flag nature of this race. They set themselves up for this race to go green, just like the Truck Series race did on Tuesday. That worked out pretty well for those that were on that strategy. So more of the same tonight. Durham now sucker hold in the middle.
Yeah, no, he's wanting to go to the front. No one's wanting to help him go to the front as they're about to lap like Telly here as Logan Hartman came down a little bit there. There's nowhere really for the 47 to go, so these drivers got to be careful. There's 4 lanes, but you don't want to have to use 4 lanes as everyone they're trying to sort each other out.
Lap traffic.
Well,
this will be 4.
Use it here on the tri-oval.
Good timing. I think Hartman's slowing down. Gonna be tight. They're gonna get through, I think.
Yes. 4 wide for a moment. And Hunter, they have done that successfully. But still, the top 24 drivers have not made their move to pit lane just yet.
No, not yet. I'm still waiting for that first pit stop to happen from this group because the front 5 or so, front 7, they're in a position now where they can jump down to the bottom and make a pit stop if they want to. But one of the things you got to worry about here is braking because some drivers' brakes are more hot than others, and especially when you're going this fast, over 180 miles an hour, all the way down to about 50, 55. Got to worry about someone behind not getting the memo or just coming in too hot. They're going to be all over your bumper. And could see a crash here heading on the pit road whenever they do decide to pit.
So coming to lap 35 now. Connor, we're not that far away from the possibility of them making it on a 1 stop. I don't think that that's super likely. But what are they waiting for at this stage? They're getting destroyed in lap time from that other group. But they're going to lose at least, 8, 10 spots?
Ricky Harden's gonna go from the lead to I think 8 because that pack is I think 8 cars, so he's gonna go to about to 9th actually. So yeah, these drivers are losing a lot of time, but at this point they've gone so long they're committed, and I can only assume they maybe think they can go 1 stop because otherwise I don't see the point in going longer when they're getting out timed like this. They're, like you said, they're getting destroyed in the timesheets right now.
Well, they are still, they haven't wrecked yet. They almost did with Talladega 47. That'll be interesting to see where he ends up after all this because he is on his own. He doesn't have anyone to draft with, no drafting help whatsoever.
There he is.
There he is.
He's actually found Bryce Senesac, who's also a lap down. So this is the battle for the Lucky Dog spot. And quickly on that rear group, Scioli and everyone else, they're kind of, big slide from the 16. I was just about to say they're actually executing this pretty well. They're basically running nose to tail. Whenever the second car in line gets hot, they're rotating them out of the group. That's what we saw with Hearn popping out of line. But they're pushing hard, guys. Make no mistake, to make up as much ground as they can, and that's put them in a sketchy spot a couple of times. But Connor, it's working out on the timesheets.
Only 8 drivers in that group, but somehow I'm more concerned about them than the lead pack. As I say that, okay, so too soon. I take that back. That's Zanto and Moffitt. Moffitt's pushing. We saw how out of control not to be rude, but we saw the 44 not really holding a line. That's an interesting combo to be on the top line, as we're about 5 laps away from halfway. These guys need to get to the bottom at some point. They can't go much longer.
Well, Santo wants to lead a lap. I mean, look at how aggressive he is with Moffitt from behind. Boy, this is some good stuff here. It looks like he's got the lead for the time being. He hasn't led a lap yet, but he wants to lead that one.
Out in front for at least a moment. Here's a quick look at who has led laps. We've had 5 leaders, 11 lead changes in 37 laps. So that's almost 1 every 3 laps. Zanto, though, needs a big shove here. He's going to get it from the 44, but is it going to be enough to get at the stripe? Big run, little side draft here. Moffitt pulls out, lets the 10 slide through, and Zanto's not going to lead this lap this time through.
That was a little surprising to get out of harm's way in the trial. Well, they're going to drop back. I assume this is a play to try to get to the bottom. I would assume, as Moffitt does drop back. Zanto drops back because of it. Harden able to reassume the lead. Christopher Tate been pushing him, and it's crazy how quickly Tate got to the front from his starting position of 24th, but he hasn't licked too much since then.
Hartman's still all over the bumper of Santo, and I'm not sure if they're going to try and get in line here, or they're still going to try and at least try to lead a lap, because it's still Harden and Tate there. Now you got the 99 of Ryan starting to pull through, although there's still that gap between Ryan and Rabel.
Are we surprised that we haven't seen another bigger group pit? It's really just that one group, or 2 groups rather, and we are only about 5 laps away from halfway, Connor. So how does that play in? It's hard to save fuel at Talladega, almost impossible under green. Under yellow, you can save some, but even 3 laps is a lot of fuel to save, even under caution.
Well, I will say this, it completely flips the script if they can make it to halfway and have a realistic shot at doing a one-stop. It completely flips the script. We go from these guys like Ricky Hard, Christopher Tate not pitting, they're losing too much time to Skyler Elwood. Those guys, they're kind of screwed. But if they can make this one-stop work, you cut out a whole pit stop at Talladega. That's an incredible amount of time to be able to save fuel in a pack like this, especially the guys who haven't been leading at the back, like John Furness. He can save even more fuel because he's in the draft and probably not full speed. It completely flips the script, and it really hurts that second pack who pit early if they can do this one stop.
Well, I was going to say they're in prime position now where they can come down and pit if they want to. It's just the 2 lap cars and Senesac and Tellier on the outside. Everyone else is down on the bottom, close to that fuel, trying to make it a one stop. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, though.
I mean, they're close. Even if they pit now, we're almost guaranteed a caution in the second half of the race. That's just how Talladega works. But would you take that chance? Pit a little bit before, if you could only make it to lap 41. Hope you could save a lap under caution, Connor. That's a risky strategy, but maybe it's not all that risky.
Looks like they're pitting. Harden's pitting. A lot of people are committing, so they're not going to make it to 42, which is halfway. So it's going to be interesting how many people pit here as Harden, Tate. Others will stay out.
Oh, lock up.
Got to make pit speed. I think everyone is going to, but it wasn't very smooth, I would say, as a few other drivers. I'm really paying attention more to the guys who stayed out. Rabel, Senesac, Valentino, Tellier. These guys, see if they can go even one extra lap can make such a big difference.
There's a chance some of these guys might actually run out of fuel with how far they're trying to stretch it.
Yes, so Senesac and Tellier have already pit. No. Yes, they both pit. Just the inside lane here is what's left. So Rabel, Valentino, all the way down to Garrett Grant.
Whoa, Dawson Miller. What on earth is he doing? He was swerving there right in front of Travis Beckner. I'm not sure if there was a bad bump there between the two, but don't want to do that, especially when you're coming to pit road, potentially this time.
So guys, this is coming to halfway, this lap.
Not everyone's coming. John Furness is Tellier, Senesac, but John Furness is going to be the one leading this pack. You can Pierce, Moffitt, Ackley, Beckner, Robertson, Chambliss, Irvin, Forrest Smith, a few guys I could see there who really need a win to make the playoffs, like Chambliss and Paul Irvin. If they can make this one stop, it could change everything for them.
Well, interesting that Dawson chose to pit without teammates Jacob Hudson and Travis Beckner. They're all here still running in this pack, so that's going to put Dawson in a little bit of a sticky situation.
Relief for John Furness here is he's got a little draft if he needs to save a little bit more fuel. They have to be on absolute fumes at this stage, guys, but they have made it to halfway plus some. So consider that. This is a halfway plus a lap now. So they, in theory, could make it to the end if they can stay in the draft the same amount of time, and here they all come.
The second pack almost wrecked again. Alan Elwood has rear end
Oh, the
damage.
28.
Sean Furness is not making pit road, so that's
Neither is Swervin' Irvin.
oh,
He's
that's
sped.
gonna take a number of people out of the equation. I think
Wow.
everyone else might have made it, but that really hurts. That hurts Irvin more than anyone else. That is huge.
Seems like Irvin and Furness didn't make it on pit speed. They were just going.
Oh,
way
there's
too
no way
quick.
Furness did. I'll say that.
10 cars speeding on pit lane. Logan Hartman back down. Or down this time, I should say. Speeding on pit lane. I think there was obviously the 48, the 28 are also caught on
One
pit
by
lane.
one. One by one, we're going to catch a number of people here as everyone else is going to pit.
Yep.
Furness and 48 of Irvin, too fast. That really hurts the 48. 28, looks like it's not going to be 3 in a row, but Irvin's going to need a lot of help to get those laps back, as here comes that pack who pitted early. James Scioli's going to assume the race lead here, but he has to do an extra pit stop where guys like Pierce, Moffitt, Rob Ackley, Chambliss, they might not have to.
Oh boy, this totally chucks this in the air, Hunter. I have no idea how this is going to play out now, but they did have to fuel save. So can they, I mean, they're going to have to be conservative again, and they're behind. I mean, they're going to get that track position back, but they have to be conservative with their fuel. But they didn't run one, sticking with the pack. So that why couldn't they do it again, Hunter?
I'm not sure. I mean, I still think a yellow's going to come out and
Oh yeah.
mumble jumble this whole entire deal. But looking at it now, looks like we've got David Weishart racing 1, 2, 3, 4 for the time being, including David Weishart.
Of David Weishart Racing. And again, they were working together the entire time. They've stuck to their strategy, and you can't panic now, Connor. You made your strategy, you made your bet, you got to lay in it now. They're going to stick with what they've got, but again, I don't think it matters. I think what matters is when the caution comes out, not if. It's going to be a when. But there also is a lot of single file operation happening here, so you don't tend to see quite as scary situations until that.
Until you bring them up.
Maybe we'll will one into existence like that.
That was really because Balancino was so slow, but Rob Ackley didn't get out of line to pass him as Moffitt blinks again. That's why that was caused. That loses them a bunch of time where they really shouldn't have lost time. Can't be doing that. If someone's that slow, you just pass them. You're not getting them in line.
44 was blinking out again, but fortunately he was on the outside. He just ducked back in on the bottom now, but boy, look at Chris Rabel. Here you see the first pack, and then there he is, all by himself, and here comes his second pack.
Yeah, Rabel's going to get swallowed alive here when the second pack reaches him, so he'll just have to accept that and tuck in as best he can. The other thing that can get you into trouble, Connor, is when you're trying to speed up to catch the pack. If you wait to duck in at the last car to try to catch their draft, you're going to lose it. So you kind of have to side draft a little bit, but we've seen that cause more wrecks than I can count.
Oh, someone hit the wall into turn 3. A wreck is happening. That's the Steve Durham and Forrest Smith. And the yellow is not out yet. They wrecked before turn 3, and we stay green.
Wow, first crash of the night, and it has not triggered the caution flag. The 84 is on the apron and rolling away with significant damage at lap 45. Let's have a look.
As Forrest Smith got, I don't know what happened. Let's see.
Oh, he gets hit from, I think that might have been a failure of some kind.
Oh, and he goes up in the air.
It had to have been.
Watch the steering wheel, guys. If it snaps to the right, that all but confirms.
Yeah, something happened
Something
there.
broke, yeah. Something wasn't right.
He never reacted. So that has to be an error. And that's really unfortunate for those guys in that pack, like Garrett Grant. Poor Steve Durham just had nothing to do. As, we've been told a screen freeze. It's probably the worst place to have that happen. So
I figured when you watch the replay back and it just goes straight into the wall, that is typically one of two things: is your cat unplugged your PC or you had a screen turn off. And seen that happen a number of times. But that's unfortunate. Takes out 2 cars, but the only 2 that have had any sort of car-to-car contact of significance so far. Hunter, we're working lap 48. A couple more cars go 1 lap down.
No, I was just about to say, looking back at last season's race, we had 18 leaders, 32 lead changes, and only 2 cautions. So this race, if we don't get a good bit of cautions, I wouldn't be surprised. But looking here at the leaders, 6 for 15, it's looking about even. We're heading past halfway.
And about 30 minutes remaining. That's how quickly we are revolving Talladega Super Speedway. New leaders up front, though. It's Scioli out in command now. He's been out front for the last 4 laps. The 99 led the biggest portion of the race so far. Tommy Ryan runs 11th. He has led 15 of the 47 laps that we have completed.
I'll tell you what, if they can do this one stop, the guy I'm looking at, there are really 2 guys I'm looking at. Rob Ackley, who's only not too far ahead of a cut line, who could really help him. But also Brian Chambliss, who came in tonight below the cut line, is on the same strategy. And I've seen Chambliss do this before, where he cuts a pit stop out and he can compete for the win. I think it was the Fuel Series. I think Jeremy Miller did it with him, and Miller won, Chambliss second. So he can do this. He's done it before, and he's going to have to likely do it again if he wants a shot at the playoffs, Hunter.
Yeah, this is all going to come down to the very last lap. I still think we're going to get a yellow at some point. I'm not sure when. We were close to having one just a few laps ago.
We just want chaos.
Yes.
It'll start at some point, guys. It's Talladega. Don't get too excited.
This race has gone caution-free before in the past, but that, you got to go back to the 80s or even the 90s for that.
I've seen a caution-free race here. I think
Outsiders
Outsider did it, yeah. At least once, maybe twice. But it is rare.
They did have wrecks.
Was it with
They did have wrecks.
Yes. Well, I mean, we've had a wreck.
Exactly. That's what I was.
Was that with the B-class car, or was that with the A-class car?
That was with the Gen 6s, actually, which is pretty incredible to think about because those things are pretty wild when they race them.
Yeah,
but,
I remember the last
and it was
time.
an incredible finish as well and all that, so we could be seeing that happen again. I don't know if I've ever seen one in the B car happen, to be completely honest.
Yeah, the thing about this, here's the thing at Talladega. If you can make it to the first stop under green flag conditions, everyone gets strung out in these single file lines, and if you've got these different strategies, you don't have people necessarily racing these lines against each other. So you end up with these very well coordinated single file groups that have no real incentive to battle. And so you're going to end up just clicking away laps. Unlike if everyone was on the same strategy, which is something we saw on Tuesday, where the groups kind of accordion back together, and then you have your chaos. We're a long way away from that, I think, even though we've had a couple scary moments.
I don't know if this goes green, if these packs, these different strategies will ever come back to one another. Right now, they're going to be 10 seconds apart. They'll probably be about 25 to 30 seconds apart when this lead pack hits again. Skyly Weishart among them. I don't think if it goes green, they'll come together, because I don't know if Chambliss, Robertson, Beckner, I don't know how much those guys will really have to save when they're not leading this pack. It's actually good for these guys that Valancino is leading this pack. He pit a lap earlier than them, and he need a lot of help to make it. So we'll just have to see here. It almost does look like they're going slower than what they should be.
They are. I think they are. That second group is going a lot slower. Last time by a full second off, so they are in fuel save mode, Hunter. They're trying to make it to their number so they can go full throttle from there on out.
Yeah, similar to what we saw Monday night, and in the case there, I believe it was a lap car for Fazekas Motorsports that was, hey, the front two are getting away. It was the Ryan brothers. They were getting away. Hey, he's the first car one lap down. We're going to try and get him back on the lead lap under green. And then he took control of that pack, and then just, well, they tried to catch up, but it just didn't happen. And then the yellow came out for that. But that was the only time we saw that. I'm interested in seeing when they're going to be given the go, like, hey, we can make it now. We're good. And then you'll just see the gap close tremendously.
So for reference, 181 miles an hour in the draft. Up front, this is 185 in the corner. Watch the straightaway speed climb here up to about 190. So it's about an 8 to 10 mile an hour difference, Connor, that they're saving, which is going to be significant. But again, they're just trying to hit their number. Once they hit it, they're going to start accelerating, and then they're free to the end. So they're in a position of strength, provided they don't have to give up so much time that pitting an extra stop wouldn't have held them back.
This is slowing down a lot, though. I'm wondering if this is just because of Valancino. Like I said, he pit a lap before all these guys, so he has to save even more. It really is not the best situation, in my opinion, to have him leading this pack when he has to save so much more fuel. You might as well put someone like Ackley in front and let Valancino get into the middle so he can lift more. I don't think giving up 2 seconds per lap is the move for this, as Logan Hartman comes down from 32nd. I just think this is too much time to give up. Unless they start going only in a few laps' time, I don't think this is going to work, unless even maybe if they're letting that second pack catch them, but even they're not going fast enough. I'm not sure if this is going to work with them giving that much time up.
Yeah, I mean, only time will tell. I mean, they could close back in like a second, 2 seconds a lap if they're going full throttle, and then these guys have to So some might try to save or come down pit road, but
So,
yeah, I don't know. I'm still in like a mixed limbo with this.
so here's the thing. They can save a lot more time or a lot more fuel because a pit lane delta is going to cost you minimum 33 seconds in pit lane, through the box, and back out. The drivers right now that are on that strategy, Valentino is 19 seconds behind the leader. So you could factor in that they could lose about 12, and then including pit in and pit out, maybe up to 15 to 20 more seconds they could give up. They could be almost a lap behind and still come out ahead when the front pack pits. That's how big of an advantage the one-stop strategy would be. So they have to time that just right, though, because if they lose more than that, they're going to be in a worse spot. And they're not going to have maneuverability. The track is hot today. Tires are going to wear out a little bit, so you might find yourself having to cling on a little harder at the end.
This is just, it's a lot of time to give up. Valentino just went 187 down the straightaway, so we'll see if he starts to pick it up a little bit. I think it was to do with that second pack. I think they might have been lifting to let that second pack catch up. I don't know. Senesac and Tellier have to pit again. Cooey, Cochran, Collier, I think they also, actually Collier definitely pit late, but Mitchell and Dawson Miller are a few more that are on that one-stop strategy. I think they were just letting a bunch of those guys catch up as well so they can form up. It's a lot of time to go. They've given up about 10 seconds to the pack up ahead.
Still losing a lot. It's now 20 seconds separating Scioli from Valentino, and these guys have shuffled a little bit, but nothing too major.
Wonder if there's increased fuel savings with a larger field in the back there with that larger pack. I don't think it's about pace, but okay, now they're disconnected, so this is going to make a big mess back here. 24, Coey goes way up top around the 5 of Garrett Grant. And this is getting weird. A couple of cars in the wall. The 64 of Robertson bounces off it.
This is the last thing they should be doing.
I don't know why they did that. I don't know if it was because of Jeff Ryan or if they didn't know Tellier and Senesac were not on their strategy. This is literally the last thing they should be doing. Don't understand.
They need to be single file hypermiling these things right now is what they should be doing.
Jeff Ryan pit 2 laps earlier, so I don't think he can one stop either. I don't get this strategy at all. And I'm sure Ackley and Chalmers are in the same boat. They're like, why are we doing this? This is screwing everyone.
And guys, they're 22 seconds behind the leader. That was the number. I said that if you lose too much more time beyond that, you're going to be in big trouble when it comes to losing ground here. If they lose another 10 seconds before the pit when these other guys pit, they were going to be not having the advantage they needed. And they could. They're still slower.
At least they're not going a 180 around the track. They are picking up the speed.
Yeah.
So that's a positive, I suppose. But you got to get single file at some point. Lead pack running 50.9s last time by while they were still getting formed as a 51.5.
Okay, here's a little bit of a spice happening up front here. 33 gets a push from the 67, and now they're broken up here a little bit. So this is, I didn't think that they were going to start fighting like this, but maybe planning their second stop, guys, shortly?
Yeah, I would think so. I think Weishart and Hearn, they want to be at the front of this, while probably Fambro and others don't want to be at the back of this. That's what I would say, Hunter.
I would say the same indeed, and not really sure how that's going to work out there with Hudson Lee in that outside line. Well, now I don't know what Tom Born's doing. He doesn't know if he wants to go high or low. He's going to stay low, leaving Swervin Irvin on his own. Now Weishart going to the outside, going to let teammate, still forget that these guys are teammates, Hearn to the lead along with fellow teammate Colin Fambro. They're just kind of rotating that top 4.
The bonus point manipulation, maybe?
Maybe. That wouldn't be the craziest thing I've heard all night, that's for sure. That's smart.
It's that. I think. Well,
yeah. Bonus. Eric Wineland is giving us some updates. He thinks that's what they're doing, is trying to grab those extra bonus points. Nice call there, Connor.
Yeah, because Weishart got 1, and that's it. I guess they could try to get a most laps led, but I don't think that's going to happen. Weishart, once again, he needs all the bonus points he needs. Realistically, he needs a win, but you never know what could happen. Cameron Hearn doesn't exactly need to win. He just needs a good day. Fambro in this literal same boat. They came in tied, those two at the front. As going back to look at the time, still 50.9s from the main pack. Here comes Tommy Ryan and Ricky Hardin trying to get some track position for pit stops. That second pack only a tenth slower last time by at the front, so they are picking up the pace.
Ever so slightly, but still, they're going to need 2 handfuls to have a shot at getting back in this.
Lead pack coming in now.
Yep, here they come. Ooh, Weishart and Fambro.
Oh,
the 7!
Oh, teammates collide. That's a teammate.
I don't think that damaged the 33 a lot. They're still banging doors down the pit lane here.
I think Fambro needs to get down to his pit, or maybe he's just upset. I wouldn't blame him, as looks like everyone's going to get their stall. A little bit of damage, not too bad of damage for those guys.
He should be okay, Weishart. Just a little bit of a fender crinkle, but in the draft, that won't be a big deal.
Wrecking the trioval. Cooey just slammed the wall. Cochran has nowhere to go.
Oh, my goodness.
And we're going to stay green again somehow. Huge hit.
Wow.
That happened below the yellow again.
Where's the 24 on the timing screen? I can't even find. There he is, 23rd. That car is destroyed.
What in the world? That came out of nowhere as Tommy Ryan in that pack. Shane Thieren's going to come in. Ryan and Harden stay out.
Take a look at it on our SimRap Market replay here in this strange turn of events.
Oh, it gets hooked.
Oh, no.
Oh, well.
Then he gets clobbered here.
I think Cochran got away with one. That almost looked like, I don't think he really got hooked. I think Cooey hit the apron and shot him up. We have to look at that again. Oh, huge hit.
Yeah, here it is again in slow motion here. The 37 coming down a little bit, but he stays on that
Apron
line.
right there.
It's a combination of the two. He's coming down, Cooey's coming up, and it all unfolds from there.
And right here, watch this. Yeah, I think the 4 net coded through that and got away with it. But we again, our second crash, and this is just one of those nights where iRacing is granting us the ability to carry on and continue. But we've got.
I think we have more pit stops.
We did. We had another pit lane last time by, and Swan, Elwood, Therian, and more.
And that left only 2 drivers left. Tommy Ryan and Ricky Harden are coming down together on there.
Oh, the 99. Nope, he's off.
That sometimes it's a penalty, sometimes not. We'll see what happens, but they really both pushed it.
I think it might be.
Surprised those 2 came down on their own. Now I'm trying to look at the gap from what is now the lead pack, the guys on the 1 stop to the guys on the 2 stop. Cochran and Dawson Miller are still trying to catch back up to those guys. Last time 51 flats from that lead pack. So they're picking up the pace, and if they can go to the end without saving anymore, they're in a great spot.
All right. Before we get into the chaos of the end of this thing, because we haven't had yellows, I got to get some ad breaks in here real quick. Our replay sponsor, which we've seen a couple times tonight, SimRap Market. Fans, be sure to check out simrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. rickshotsauce.com. Fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Be sure to follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see who will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. Got to hedge my bets here, guys. I think this is going green a little longer.
We'll have to wait and see as we get a few more pit stops. I think lap cars are going to come down. I think Talladega and Senesac have to eventually, as it starts to calm down a little bit. It tried to get pretty exciting. It was pretty insane, but everything's sort of orderly, I suppose. Ricky Harden is unfortunately on his own. Might have had a penalty. That or just a stall. And now that pack that was about 8 cars on the 2 stop, they're pretty spread out. Her and Scully, Fambro, Weishart together. And now Tommy Ryan, Therian, Swan, Elwood, and Bourne are going to have to all form up here and start to mount a charge here with about 20 laps to go.
They're good on fuel now. They can do it. Not sure if it'll happen though. Still got 22. Make that 21 laps to go. Christopher Tate leading. Andrew Santo in second there. Right in the middle of that's actually John Furness, but the rest of the field is over 20 seconds behind these front 2.
Or pit stops. Oh, Balacino failing to pit lane.
He pit on 41. He didn't get the halfway for his stop, so he's just going to throw in a towel for it and just pit.
It's that close. That's crazy that it's that close.
I'm in the same boat as you. The lap cars, Tellier and Senesac came in. Jeff Ryan as well. I think pit on 30. No, he pit on 40 as well, so same strategy as Balacino.
We'll have to see when the 30 and the 13 come down from because I don't think those 2 can make it, even if they start saving now. I mean, they have a 21-second gap, but it's going to get eaten up quick if they start saving.
I can tell you the 14 does not want to be out front pushing all the air out of the way, I'll tell you that much. He bailed.
John Furness probably doesn't need to be as well. Actually, I'm trying to look at who is leading that line. Not John Furness, I believe.
Furness is in the middle of Tate and Santa, so he's actually in an okay position.
19 laps to go this time by, and laps are clicking away, guys. We're at 10 laps to go time, basically. But with the strategy all mixed up, I don't really know what is go time and what's not. I just know that the guys that just pit, they're probably in a position now where if the guys up front can make it, they should just race, because there's no way to catch them necessarily. But the other strategy is stay in line, work together here, and if they get a caution, they'll be in a great position to fight the rest of the fight when they get the green flag again. But who knows? It's going to come down to the last lap, literally.
Oh, yeah, it's literally going to come down to the last lap. When we have players at the front, Garrett Grant is pretty solidly in, but a win could secure him. Chambliss is the one who really needs to get this done and win this race. He is in a position where he's probably not going to point in. He needs this win. Chris Rabel's locked in. Collier's there. Greg Mitchell, he needs to make sure he doesn't lose any more points. He should be good as well. Ackley is not in the best spot with the guys who've gotten bonus points, so Ackley should probably make sure he has to race for this win as well.
Well, Chambliss entered 8 points behind Senesag heading into this race, and with the way they're at right now, Chambliss would be in a very comfortable position if things play through the way that they're looking right now. But still looking...
He's a lonely man right now, though, Hunter.
Very lonely.
Senesag came in 9 below the cut line as well, and then it would be Fambro and Hearn who are 9 ahead. So Hearn and Fambro, 13th and 14th. They might lose some points as well. This is gonna be, we're gonna have to sort this out after the race if this is if it finishes something like this. We can't even begin to speculate what the points are right now, but it's pretty insane the way it's running right now. I'll leave it at that.
I don't believe Chambliss has led a lap. I know that Fambro and Hearn led the lap because they were rotating, trying to get a bonus point for leading a lap. It's going to be very, very close if they stay where they're at right now.
He might, excuse me, sorry to cut you off. He might get one soon as Garrett Grant got out of the way. Chambliss gets out of the way. It's kind of musical chairs right now. No one wants to lead this line right now. Meanwhile, this isn't for the lead because Christopher Tate and Andrew Santos still haven't pit.
So here's
the battle. I was going to say the battle within the battle. Skylerly and Elwood for that regular season championship. They're 16th and 17th right now on the racetrack. So the race within the race still going on.
Well, here's a look. Look at the lap times here. 50.7. And Garrett Grant, Chambliss, and Rabel, 52.1. With that distance, at this time difference, they're going to catch that front pack with about 5 laps remaining in this event.
Yeah, they're clearly not good on fuel because Chambliss has slowed the pace down a lot, and they are going to lose a lot of time to that second pack. No one wants to lead, but no one's going to take it. Chambliss is there. This is, actually I have seen this in Road to Pro. They're slowing it down to almost 170. This is not going to work if they have to go this slow for a few more laps.
Oh boy, here comes Beckner and Miller up the middle. Seems like they're going to lead the charge. Beckner's got nothing to lose. Dawson's got nothing to lose either. They're going to go full throttle, lead the charge through.
30 and 13 are coming down pit lane. They're in their box already. But the focus shifts to the 56 and 27. They are now will cycle to be the new race leaders. Hearn piloting the storming train that is the rest of the field that is definitely good on fuel, and they're going to catch this front pack, guys.
Yeah, 13 got speeding. Xanto, unfortunately, not going to be able to do anything with his late pit stop as Travis Beckner got on the radio saying, we'll lead this thing, no problem, and Beckner wants them, he's pleading these guys to catch them, but the lead back, really Collier, they're trying to save more than that.
Do you want to know why they're pleading them to catch? So that they crash and they get a chance to put fuel in the car.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that as well. As you can see down the back straightaway, look at that second pack creeping up on everyone. That's pretty much the gap at this point from, looks like Tate might come out in that second pack, but Cameron Hearn only about 9 seconds back. They can't save like this forever because they're just giving up too much time.
I just didn't think they'd have to save this much, guys. Hunter, I thought that they would save a little bit at the start of the run and be good. I didn't know that they were saving that hard in the first 41 laps of the race.
Yeah, well, it's going to be... this whole thing is so weird. I'm not used to Talladega being like this. But shout out to Dawson Miller for leading the first challenge. If he can complete the second half of that, that would be amazing. But yeah, in the midst of all this chaos, I'm not really sure how this is going to end. I still think we get a yellow before this pack even gets up to him.
I don't know what's going to happen, man. We'll go... keep cutting people off because I don't know what to say, but I have to say something because this is just absolutely wild. This is not what Talladega usually comes to. It's happened in the past, but not in so long.
You know what would have solved this is make the race 86 laps, and none of this would have happened. You know what I mean? Like it's just the perfect storm of people saving fuel at the very edge of the limit at just the right lap number to make it work. If it was 2 laps shorter, 2 laps longer, it would be a completely normal Talladega race. We'd have 15 cautions, cars upside down and into the catch fence, and we wouldn't be talking about strategy right now.
They're gonna have to start going. That pack is catching them too quickly. It's now about 6.5 seconds. It might even be less than that after the end of this lap. And next time by is gonna be, I believe, 13 laps to go. So if they can get to a point where they let them catch you about 5 seconds and then start going, maybe that's their best case scenario. But they got to make sure they keep them away from being within even a second and a half so they have no snip of the draft.
Boy, I wonder how calm Dawson Miller is in that 56. Anytime we hear radio communications on Monday, he's always as cool as a cucumber talking to Travis, trying to make sure that he doesn't make any mistakes or any mental errors right there. But, I mean, 13 laps to go, and really he only does the super speedways, so I can only imagine what's going through the mind of Dawson right now, but you can also imagine what's going through the mind of Cameron Hearn.
0.3 of a second a lap is the gain from that second pack. They are still flying, and they're well organized, Connor, and that's probably perhaps the most important piece of all this. Yes, they're single file. Yes, they're kind of all riding on the bottom, but they're also well organized, which is something that this front group has not quite been. They're somewhat organized, but I don't think they're all trying to achieve the same exact goal right now.
But if they can make it to the end without going any slower than they are right now, this can work. 3/10 per lap, they can work with that. They won't catch up if it's 3/10 per lap at this point in the race. If they can maintain this, they'll be in a good spot.
Also got to worry about Travis Beckner in the 27. We've already seen the 56 get squirrely. Just saw Beckner get squirrely right there in the tri-oval, and he's had a few close calls with pushing people. And boy, it's going to be tight between those two. But can they make it on fuel?
One pit stop. That was 31 laps ago for Travis Beckner. How do the tires factor into this, Connor? No, they're usually never much of a factor, but 40 laps on tires at a hot racetrack sliding around like Beckner has, you got to have a little bit of maneuverability decline compared to the other guys, right?
I'm sure, but I don't know if that's really what they care about right now. I think they're just so worried. They're looking at their fuel, looking at the gallons go down, looking at the laps deplete, and they're not even caring about it. They could blow a tire and they'll still be focusing on the fuel. This is going to be so incredible if they can pull this off. But I'm really still eyeing Brian Chambliss out of everyone in this pack. He's still in 8th place. He was at the front of this for so long. I'm assuming because he's at the back that he still needs a lot of work to save enough to make it to the end. As last time by, that pack behind him took about 4 tenths out. That's not really what they need, but if they can maintain 3 to 4 tenths and not lose more than that per lap, they can make this work.
Well, I'm looking through here in the chat, and Jacob Bell actually put the 13 and the 30 was referring to Santo and Tate should have never pitted. They were only 1 lap short. Oh. And they had such a big gap between this pack here led by Dawson Miller now. I don't know. They probably made a bad situation there from pitting, but it looks like Santo is the first car 1 lap down, I want to say. He's right in the middle of that pack. So we got a yellow here. Santo is right back in, even after the miscue on pit road.
10 laps to go from Talladega, 26 miles thereabouts. And that's all that these drivers have to survive. They have a 5.5 second lead over that second pack. Beckner to the high side, guys, are getting disassembled again.
About 3 tenths last time by, and if they're gonna get disassembled like this, that pack in the back is gonna get them. Beckner got out of line because he was overheating, so Greg Mitchell's gonna be assuming to roll a pusher right now. And those drivers at the back of this front pack have to be ready to make some sort of move. If that second pack gets there, okay, I'm gonna jump in front of them and take their run and not let anyone else get by me, and I'm gonna go to the front with them. They have to be ready to make a move like that.
Unless Mitchell is also overheating or he wanted to be 3rd in line. Just dropped down to 3rd, so Robertson now moves up to 2nd. They're coming across the stripe, 9 to go this time by. Beckner still holding his own on the outside, even with the overheating issues.
9 laps to go, guys. Counting them down every 50 seconds. That number goes down by 1. Cameron Hearn, he can smell it. He can see that pack ahead. Weishart, Fambro, Scioli, Elwood, Tate, Hardin, Brine, Bourne, Therian, and more, all in striking distance here. And it's going to get wild when they catch this front group.
Yeah, that was a bad lap. They lost about a second. It's almost inevitable that they will catch up. It's just a matter of how late in this race are they going to make it, as they're going to pull Pierce Moffitt off the track, I think, because he's not making speed. Not the issue there. The issue, Travis Beckner wanted to hole in. He didn't get it. He's still not coming down, as look at how fast that lead pack is coming now. They are about 3 miles per hour faster than them in turns 3 and 4. They might be there by the time they get to the back straightaway.
No, Weishart moved out, so Fanbro and Hearn can lead the charge now, but coming through, 8 laps to go. Dawson Miller's still leading, but the inevitable question, when will that second pack gain up to the first pack? I mean, it seems inevitable that's going to happen. It's just a matter of when and how they do it, because some of these guys in that first pack, they might throw a block trying to derail that second pack from moving past them. We look here at the race recap. 0 yellows. We've had a couple of close calls, but nothing enough to trigger the caution. 9 leaders and 21 lead changes, and I think we see all those numbers increase before this one's over.
I agree with that. That's for sure.
I'm sorry. I was just talking to myself. I apologize. I was just looking at the speed. Cameron Hearn was 194 in the turn number 3, which that might be the fastest speed of the day. He's going to be in Travis Beckner's slipstream by the time they get to turn 1. This is game on now with 7 laps to go.
Well, I'm looking at that second pack now. I was looking at Santa there in 3 and 4 moving up high, sort of creating some separation between the top 5 and them. But riding in car here with Cameron Hearn, boy, he is a man on a mission. Here he comes down the backstretch. He's got Travis Beckner's within reach.
Here we go, guys. Watch the speed climb with that extra draft. 193, 194. Are we going to hit 195? 196. 197 into turn 3. Hearn is sailing off into the banking. And coming to 6 laps to go, they have caught the pack. And it's time to race here, boys. 6 to go from Talladega.
And now it's a matter of who in that first pack makes the first move to try to block. I don't see Beckner doing it, but you never know. You know Hearn's going to go to the top and try to force him out as they get by lap traffic. Hearn's going to probably go high on Beckner. Beckner tries to block it, can't do it. Everyone's going to go with the 67, and who's going to try to block that run?
Well, now we're going to get some separation here. Elwood's looking to the inside. Remember, still has a regular season championship to fend off from James Scioli here as we're tightly bunched at 3 wide coming out turn 2.
Here we go. This is what we waited 79 laps for. 3 wide down the back straightaway as everybody scatters. We're racing, bumping and banging in the high lane.
Oh, Zanto, the lap car got in the middle. I don't know which lane he's going to pick. He's going to pick in front of the 25.
Oh, no, this is not looking good.
It's not looking good, but this is really the only way it could end. The way they're going to race is going to be all-out brawling to the end.
Santo and Hearn have history between lap traffic getting in the way of Hearn. Santo still lapped down, but he's leading this middle line, but Hearn leaning that outside, trying to get enough momentum. Meanwhile, Miller and Robertson still on the bottom. 5 more laps to go from Talladega.
Turn 1, 3 abreast, 3 wide, and how many rows deep into turn 1? Here comes the middle groove.
I'm sure Brian Chambliss is screaming at the 13 to get out of the way. He does not want him in line, but there's nothing you do about it. You just have to shove him to the front and try to make something happen. That 67, huge shove down the back straightaway. Not clear of the 13. The 56, Dawson Miller is going to drop way off as that bottom line is toast. Chambliss goes to the bottom. Santo tried to block it, couldn't do it. Hearn's clear, but he can't get down. Here comes Brian Chambliss.
That bottom line is losing momentum. The 56 and the 64 got a little out of touch there down the back. That's why we saw Hearn go to the lead. Santo, he just wants to get his lap back. Beckner's trying to push him and get him out of the way so Beckner could take control of this thing. But for the moment, Hearn still leads. And they are close to crashing here as they're coming through the front stretch and on the turn 1.
4 laps to go from Talladega. The 13 drops to the bottom. Beckner sees the C's part in the middle of the field. Here they come through 1 and 2 now. Look at the 33, the 18, the 67, and the 7 packed up, paired up on the outside lane. 3 abreast down the back straightaway.
And we got to be careful. Make sure no one can run out of fuel. If you run out of fuel in the middle of the pack, it's going to spell trouble. Chambliss in the bottom line, sandwiched between slower traffic, not going to be able to do anything. His playoff hopes going down the drain seemingly, but look at that middle line surge. Travis Beckner is going to retake the lead with Alan Elwood on the bottom. Here comes Ricky Harden to the bottom. What a move.
Ricky Harden making him move down on the bottom. Can't go below the yellow. Beckner trying to block with all he can. Hearn still looking for a run on the outside. Meanwhile, Alan Elwood is in the middle. trying to make something work. 3 more laps to go.
When will the bubble burst here at the front? Still 3 wide. The 49 of Elwood just trying to clinch the regular season championship through the middle. He's almost to the point as the 27 holds the lead on the bottom with Hardin pushing. Zanto behind. Now the 67's got clean air ahead of him off his nose. The 16 looks to the outside but stays with the 49.
The top line lost some steam in 1 and 2, but they're getting it back down the back straightaway. No one's going to go to the top. I thought Tom Ford might. He won't do it. It's going to be 3 by 3. Fambro's fighting so hard with that 67, pushing the guy. He's tied within points. I don't think anyone on the one-stop's going to be able to make it work. I was looking at that 25, but he needs to make something happen. Coming to 2 laps to go. The 27 has the edge, but when will the 49 get there? The 56 pitting. Some drivers who couldn't make it have to pit. Miller's going to miss his box no matter now.
I'm shocked that this outside line has yet to take full control of it. It seemed like they would, but now they've just kind of stalled up there. That middle and bottom is as bunched up as they've ever been. Hearn kind of just waiting for a massive run to come on that outside line. But Beckner's stolen his own on the bottom, and in the middle it's Santo. Well, not Santo. Santo got loose. It's Elwood in the middle.
2 laps to go, 3 wide still. The 49's got a big dent in the rear bumper. That could prove to be a problem here with the pushes from the 16. Lots of sideways movement here. They're coming to the white flag. If we get through 3 and 4 in the tri-oval without a contact, we're going to finish this race with no cautions, but that doesn't guarantee us without a crash.
We've already had 2. I'm looking at number 3 right in front of us right now as they're about to come to a tri-oval. Ryan getting insanely close to the drivers on the top as Travis Beckner leads into a tri-oval. Elwood's there. Can Hearn get the run? 1 more lap to go. Who's going to win it?
Oh, white flag in the air. 1 final time around Talladega. Hearn 3 wide, deep in the front for the lead, for the win. Hearn on the outside, Elwood in the middle, Beckner on the bottom. Who's going to prevail?
3 wide out of turn 2. After 84 laps of racing strategies that nobody could understand, we're coming back to the checkers this time no matter what. The 67 side by side with the 49. Beckner on the bottom. Those drivers locked in. Hearn needs it. It's 3 wide into turn 3.
I don't know who's going to survive this. Beckner strong on the bottom. Elwood's got the push. Look at how hard Cameron Hearn's pinching. They're bouncing off each other through turn 4. Who's going to win it?
Here they come off turn 4 for the final time. Elwood with a run up the middle. Hearn trying to get something going on the outside. Beckner holding his own on the bottom.
There they go.
It goes around. They're crashing in the tri-oval. Beckner's going to come through, and he's going to win at Talladega. Wow.
Wow.
And Alan Elwood's going to win the regular season championship. Scioli was caught up in that.
Wow.
Wow is right.
They waited until the last few hundred feet to wreck it. We were all expecting that at some point before the first 83 laps, but take a look at this again.
And Travis Beckner's out of gas as well.
Oh, man, the 33 took a big impact there, and then just catastrophe behind. Hearn, guys, 17th after all that. Hopefully that doesn't impact him too much in terms of he should be okay. But, again, in the chaos of all that here at the end, it's hard to even cover how many cars, which directions they went. But a big pileup right at the end. Look at David Weishart sneaking through there at the end.
And Beckner, in that one-stop strategy, prevailed. Unbelievable stuff. Incredible finish. Tom Bourne and I believe Cameron Hearn came together to cause that, and they're going back and forth.
Now look at Beckner. He's getting pushed from Ed Robertson because, like you mentioned, he's out of fuel.
Oh, my goodness.
Used every drop tonight.
That is incredible.
Well, don't expect any burnouts here. He's going to try and park it right.
Oh, he's
on
got
the
some
finish
left.
Sputtering, most likely.
He's still got a good bit.
Travis Beckner gets it done at Talladega. Let's have a look at our race results. 84 laps, guys, not a single caution flag. Great work by everybody involved there. And what great racing the last 6 or 7 laps there when the field caught it, not to wad them all up, guys. Unbelievable driving. Travis Beckner picks up another win on the season. Ricky Hardin just shy. Elwood clinches the regular season title. Tom Bourne, Greg Mitchell, Matthew Cochran, Shane Therian, Rob Ackley, Fambro, and Robertson, the rest of your top 10, Connor.
That's incredible. We have drivers who went through pit road on the final lap, so that will all be reviewed as well to see who finished actually where. But for the time being, unofficially, Weishart, Tate was pretty fast. Ryan Swan as well. Scioli caught up in that wreck, couldn't do anything with the 49. And Cameron Hearn, who looked like at a point he was going to fly away with the race lead, just couldn't get that top lane to the front. And Chris Rabel, who was at the front a lot as well, to 17th, Hunter.
Oh my goodness, I still can't get over that finish, man. That was
Neither
nuts.
me.
Waited all 83 and a quarter, 83 and 3/4 laps because that last quarter they just junked it. But here you see Furness, Senesac, Tellier, Chambliss. Chambliss finishing 24th there. Not a good situation to be in for him. Hudson Santo was also up in the mix for that, but he was trying to get a lap back. So it was all for nothing there, that last lap for the 13 of Santo.
Yeah, Tommy Ryan lucky to have that clinch because he finished down in 29th place. Here's a look at Maffitt 30th and then the rest of the running order. We have our top three waiting. Alan Elwood, first of all, is the regular season championship winner. He also finished third tonight after a wild last 6 laps at Talladega. Alan, have you caught your breath yet? We're still catching up.
My heart's pumping. that was something. I mean, our guys played it great. We made the right strategy calls, and we were right there. And we weren't sure there for a little while if we were going to catch the lead pack, but when we knew that those guys might be a little tight on fuel and they might be backing off a little, that we'd probably catch them there toward the end. And we were working with the DWR cars to try to stay in line and get up as quick as we could. We saw them go high, and we're like, well, we got to go low because we can't do what they're going to do to try to win the race. So. We just made the moves and was hoping everybody would hold it together, and luckily pretty much everyone did until, coming into the end there.
Well, you put yourself in a great position. You're in the playoffs, we know that, but next week we head to a road course. You're looking forward to that one. It's only the second one on the season. Last time out it worked out pretty well for you.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I've ran a couple races on it with this car, and it's really slick. So tire management's going to be super key there. It's going to be different starting off with a road course to the playoffs, but looking forward to the challenge and just happy we've made it.
Made it indeed. Alan Elwood, regular season championship winner and third place here tonight at Talladega. Alan, we'll see you next week.
Appreciate it.
Moving on now to second place, Ricky Harden gets it done in the 15. Fought up front all night long, and in the chaos of the last 5 laps, you bring it home in second, just 64 thousandths behind Travis Beckner. Really weird night with strategy, and then that last 6 laps was just, I'm sure, the epitome of plate racing at Talladega.
Yeah, 100%. It was a great race, and I had a lot of fun all night long. I think my team, Unacceptable Racing, me and Tommy Ryan and Jeff Ryan, I think we had the right strategy. It wasn't executed perfectly. Tommy accidentally got tires on the last stop, but we had the short fill. We were going to have a massive lead, but I don't think enough people were on the strategy. I think that the main pack would have caught back up to us, but ultimately it was a great night to come home second. We're trying to make the playoffs, and we're going to be really, really close now.
Well, Ricky, second place tonight. A win would have done wonders for you, but P2 by 64 thousandths. Congrats at least on that, and best of luck next week when we head to the road course at Indianapolis.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Travis Beckner, at the beginning of the season in the Area 500, we talked to you in Victory Lane. Tonight in Talladega, we talked to you here in the Lodgebox Series. Wow, weird race all around. Lots of strategies floating around, and then the last couple laps, mayhem, and you came out the other side of it. Take us through your perspective.
I don't even know how to speak right now. I've been trying to get the Lodgebox win for the past 3 seasons, and I finally got it tonight. Oh my god. Qualified decent. I usually don't qualify well at super speedways, and then there towards the end when I was pushing Dawson, trying to help everybody out behind me because I knew I was already locked into the playoffs and not what the pack of DWR and the Sky Motorsports guys catch us, but did not end up working out, but ended up working out for me because I fell to the back, saved just the right amount of gas that I need to make it to the end.
Well, it worked out great, and you got your win. That's been kind of the monkey on your back. You got it off tonight. Congratulations, Travis. Wild win, big wreck behind you there at the end, and you picked up the checkered now in the Area Lodgebox Series. Congratulations, and hope you enjoyed this one.
Yeah, thank you. Before I go, I'd like to thank a few people. First off, this is the paint scheme that I've been running all season, and it's a throwback to my granddad, and I told him when I won a race that I was going to shout him out, and shout out to you, Granddad Dave. This one's for you. And, of course, my sponsors, Collier Cutters Landscaping in Southwest Florida, Rick's Hot Sauce, Palmetto State Army, Wax Electric, did I say Lodgebox? I don't know if I did.
Not yet, but there you go. You got it.
Check that off the list.
Oh my god. And of course, y'all taking the time out of your day to do this. I can't believe we went green all the way to the end.
I can't either, Travis, quite frankly, but you got it done. Congratulations, buddy. Enjoy it. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Wrapping things up here from Talladega. First of all, that finish, that racing the last couple laps was absolutely spectacular. Some of the best of the week. Connor Horn, final thoughts here on Talladega and the playoff field before we head into Indianapolis road racing next week.
Definitely a big change as we go to Redacted Road Course next week. It's just a heck of a switch. I'm just as speechless as Travis. If you had a top 10 of SimTV finishes, that might be on there. Just absolutely incredible racing. Had everything. Had great racing. Had compelling strategies. Had a little bit of drama with some playoff drivers like Chambliss, Weishart. Can they make it? Will they make it? At the end of the day, not official, but I don't think we'll see much movement in the playoff picture. But regardless, this was one of the all-time races to call on SimTV. This was insane, and the finish lived up to the entire rest of the 83-lap race. Incredible stuff, Hunter.
Incredible indeed. I didn't expect a caution-free race at Talladega to go that well. I think they're still sorting out the finishing results there, but from what I'm seeing, if this is still true, then Chambliss might be in on points over Cameron Hearn. I'm not 100% sure, but they're still trying to work out the finishing order. I think with Chambliss and the 99 of Ryan, if I'm not mistaken, they're still trying to work those guys out because they got shuffled towards the back. But remember, Chambliss spun in front of the finish line in front of David Weishart. But it's going to be really close. We'll have to determine this, fortunately, after we go off the air here, Kyle.
Yeah, make sure you keep in touch with the area Lodgebox and all the area social media to update you on the playoff field heading into next week. But there's a replay of the finish. Travis Beckner gets it done. Before we go, we'd like to let you know that you should check out areairacing.shop for merchandise to represent your favorite driver. Shop from our selection of t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, and more. Use code SWAN for 10% off your order at checkout. Great racing here at Talladega. We go road racing next week from the Indianapolis road course. That's what's up next here on SimTV. We'll see you next Monday for the Area Cup Series, Tuesday for the trucks, and Thursday again for the Area Lodgebox Series. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.